It's time for the final pick'ems video of the Starladder Budapest Major, and that is, of course, for the playoffs. Now, this is not actually in the game yet, so we're going to do it on HLTV since I have to record this because I am actually traveling to Budapest to stream the event live from the arena. And if you guys want to come watch that, it will be on Kick. There will be a link in the description. So let's get to this because I think this is probably the most stacked bracket in all of Counter-Strike Major history. And we start off with a banger. That is Spirit versus Falcons. Now, this is one of the craziest games that you could start the Major off with. This is one of those where it's like Falcons is playing versus Donk. And I don't know if you guys know this, but there is historically a little rivalry that's very one-sided between m0NESY and Donk. It goes like this. Donk has never beaten m0NESY in an official match ever. And it gets worse than that. If you look at Donk and Shiro have never beaten Nico and m0NESY ever. And if it happens here as the first time ever in a Major, while Donk is a 1.71 rating, it would be absolutely electric. However, I do think that Falcons is better in terms of how they're coming into this. They did look a little rough against G2, and I know they lost to Mouz, but given the record that they have against Spirit, I do still favor them to win this, even though I do think that Donk could power up and win the entire series for Spirit. I do still have to pick Falcons. Today's video is sponsored by Skinland. Skinland is a marketplace that you can buy and sell skins on, and it's also the official partner of Team Vitality. There's plenty of ways to top up your balance, and you can use that balance to buy skins off of the marketplace. And after the recent trade-up update, this is actually a great time to buy since a lot of skins are at a discount compared to where they were a few months ago. And you can also sell on Skinland, but if you do, make sure that you use code Austin. That way you can get an extra $10 if you're selling an item over $100. Then you can choose the skins that you want to sell, pick your preferred payout method, and then you're done. And with Skinland's new payout system, any funds that you send to your balance, you can use instantly to buy skins even after the recent trade updates. So thank you to Skinland for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it. Now, things don't slow down anytime soon because we have Vitality versus Mongols. This is a rematch from the finals at the Austin Major, and there it was a little bit different because we had Senzu instead of Controlez, but Controlez has been playing very well considering this is his first time, basically his first month playing with the Mongols. He's risen to the occasion. He's had some insane highlights, crazy impact, but we're playing against Vitality. And when it comes to playing versus Vitality, you have to play against ZywOo, who might be the best CS2 player. Well, it might be the best CS player of all time. That's up for debate. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. And Rops. Now, it's a tough matchup, and a lot would need to go right for Mongols to win this series. And realistically speaking, I just don't see it happening. Even though I have been impressed with how they've been playing so far, I think that they should just be happy with how far they've made it. They can play with nothing to lose, and if an upset happens, it happens, but I still favor Vitality to make it through. After that, we have Furia versus Na'Vi, and Furia are basically the favorites to win the whole Major. I've said that since the beginning, and I don't think that they're going to be slowing down anytime soon. However, I will mention that Wonderful has been having a really good tournament, so he could be able to compete versus Molodoy. They could maybe get a map off of Furia if things go well for them. The problem is that aside from Wonderful and Bit, you really don't have much else going for them. If Ima has a good game, then I suppose there's a chance that maybe this is a little bit closer than just one map. We might have a decider in overtime, maybe, but that's being very generous to Na'Vi. I still think that Furia should just take this one pretty comfortably, and that's who I'm going to pick for my pick'ems. I think Furia is going to win this one pretty convincingly, but there's a chance that it's close. After that, we have Mouz versus Faze, and let's be honest, this is a pretty one-sided match. The last time that Faze, well, this Faze core beat this Mouz core was at Shanghai last year, which was in a best of one. The odds are definitely not in Faze's favor. I will say they have been playing good, kinda. From 0.4 seconds away from being eliminated, they have pretty much brought out all the doubters, including myself. I did finally get one stage of pick'ems correct by having them go through in the last stage here, which is nice, but the problem is that you can't expect the Faze magic to last for the entirety of the Major, and Mouz is looking good. I mean, you can see the results right here for yourself. They already had a win versus Falcons. They did a close series versus Spirit, and I just don't really see a world where that's going to be enough for Faze to have a chance to get through. So I think that Mouz will probably take this one pretty handily, barring any Faze magic. Anything's possible, but I think that this is going to be a Mouz victory. After that, we have Falcons versus Vitality, and I think that this is a rivalry that we saw a ton of at the first season of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if Vitality just do what they always did at the beginning of the year, but there is one difference, which is that in the beginning of the year, they had Magisk instead of Kiyosuke, and Kiyosuke is one of the highest rated players at this event, as opposed to where Magisk would potentially be. So there's more of a talking point here. m0NESY versus Zayu is always a pleasure to watch, and I do think that with Rops and Kiyosuke going back and forth, there's a real chance that this could be a Falcons victory, and I want to believe that this is the time where NiKo can go on this victory run, where he can go and conquer all of the demons from earlier, well, basically his entire career, but especially since he's been on Falcons. He has a heartbreaking game where he has to beat his cousin, eliminate him, and then they go on to beat Spirit. They finally, keep the streak going, get the nerves off. Then they go into this game versus Vitality, and they finally get the better of them here. Even though, by the way, they did beat them in the last head-to-head that they had, but that's one in a long list of Vitality wins. So I do think that Falcons is slightly favored in this. I think they're going to be going to the finals over Vitality, but I wouldn't die on this hill. This is one I'm not so sure about. I think this is a coin flip. Me and Vu are actually doing a major preview where we discussed all these matches at length if you want to hear more. And this is one that we talked about and we actually don't agree on who's going to win. So if you want to hear about that, you can go click that video after you're finished with this. Next, our proposed finalists here, our proposed semifinalists here, Furia versus Mouz. It's a close one. It's a little bit closer than I'd like to admit because, funnily enough, the last time that Furia lost was to Mouz, and it was 10 series ago. They were on a 10 winning streak, but the last loss they had was to Mouz. Now, in that tournament, they lost to Mouz in Chengdu and went on to win the final and, well, win the entire tournament very convincingly. But it does have something to bring to this matchup, this head-to-head, Furia versus Mouz. It's a tough one. I will say, I wouldn't actually completely rule out Mouz victory. I do think that their win versus Falcons does add some credibility. I think playing Spirit close is very good. I think it's convincing. But Furia are the best team in the world, and I don't expect them to break their streak here. I feel like they're going to win this game. It's going to be close. It could even be one of the most exciting games of this major, but I do think they're going to come out on top. But there is the factor of Mouz being, the home team with Torzi. It's possible, right? Anything is possible, but I don't want to pick them for pick'ems. Maybe for fun, we could talk about it once we get closer. If you guys stop by to see me on stream, we can talk about it as it's happening. Which brings us to our final, which would be Falcons versus Furia. Now, I do think that this is going to be a 5-map series. I will just tell you now, I think that this is going to go the distance. Considering the last time that they played, it was so close. And honestly, I think Falcons probably would have taken it to map 5 at Blast Rivals if they hadn't lost that 1v4 to K-Serrato. It was a close series. Furia looked like the better team. Falcons look like the better players on the average day. And so when you have both of these teams going head-to-head, major final, best of 3, I don't know. It's a tough one. You can go with your gut if you think that Falcons has what it takes. NiKo is going to break the curse and finally win a major after conquering Vitality and Spirit, eliminating Hunter. Everything is going right, and they finally put the cherry on top by eliminating the best team in the world. NiKo wins the major. But I don't think that that's the reality that we're living in. I personally I think Furia is just too strong, and I think they're going to win the major, and that's going to be the end of the season. Maladoy will be Rookie of the Year, and Fallen will cement his spot as one of the best IGLs in Counter-Strike history. But you can let me know what you think in the comments below. I had a lot of fun doing the pick'ems with you guys this major, even though we didn't have the best results. We did get one stage right, that being stage 3. But yeah, if you guys want to come watch while I'm in the arena, it will be on Kick. Like I said, link will be in the description. I'd love to see you there, but if not, that's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed the video anyway, and hopefully you guys will be back for more. Much love as always, and I'll see you guys very soon.